today for joining us, joining with me here. And recently we started this program called Dharma Talks, especially for the people, those who are living here in the Western culture, living abroad since so long. They are Hindus following Sanatana Dharma, but yet at times it's difficult to, know what is right, what is wrong. And not everybody is a seeker yet. But if we can teach something related to dharma to them, then that would help us as well, and then help all the audience that we have here to, broaden their horizon when it comes to jnana, when it comes to wisdom. It'll broaden their horizon. So one thing that I would like to tell you is most of the time we see here that people are very confused about dharma, what is dharma and what is religion. So how does one differentiate between the two?
Well, first thing is that anyone becomes interested in anything if that person thinks this is important for his or her welfare. Unless one knows the importance of something, one does not take interest in it, no matter how good the thing is.
Right.
So, just as you said that so many people have gone to West or to outside countries out of Bharat or India. So, why have they gone there? Because they understand the importance of prosperity, wealth, good opportunities which are available there. And nobody has to convince them for that because they
Right.
are convinced about it. And nobody has to prod them, give them lecture that you should go to Australia or you should go to America or you should go somewhere. They themselves have the wish, desire to go there. Why? Because they have faith, they are convinced that they would do better in those places. So, similarly, if you want that people of Indian origin or even other people take stock interest in Dharma, first of all, they have to be told about its importance, its utility. Otherwise, no matter how much you say that we are Indians, we come from this great land, we have this Dharma, it does not make sense to them, especially to the modern youth. So, modern youth is very much influenced by the social media. That is one thing. Secondly, that they don't just follow something unless they have some logical background understanding of it. So, this is the first thing I would say, that whatever you do, you must explain things in a very logical and clear manner, and so that it convinces people about the importance of Dharma. Because Dharma is not simply because I am Indian, I am Hindu, or I am this or that, therefore I should follow. That is good if you do that. But
But it's
our
a way of living truthfully, living justfully. That's what it is.
yes, yes. And living way of living, there are so many ways of living. Why we have to
Yeah.
live according to Sanatan Dharma?
Correct.
Because this has got some greatness in it. Something which you want, it helps you to achieve that. And people do not know this. They do not know this. This is the sad state of affairs. So, dharma, the word dharma, and like any other noun or words in Sanskrit, they are derived from roots called dhatus.
Yeah.
There are 2000 of them. So, the word dharma comes from dhri dhatu, which means to uphold, to maintain, to sustain. There is another root, dharma, dharma iti dharane dhatu. So that and mahitvecha prakirtita. So it has two meaning, that which upholds and which is great, which has importance for one's life. So in short, dharma as distinguished and distinct from religion is that it is a system of principles, not system of beliefs, but systems of principles which uphold or sustain our life, individual life, social life, and environment. So, this dharma sustains us at our individual level, means for our good. It sustains individuals who live as a society, because human beings are not and just some individual person living in a corner. We live together as a society. So it also maintains,
Interconnected society,
and
interdependent society.
yes, and it also supports, sustains, and maintains the very nature on which we subsist. So these are the three factors of dharma. And then rest is how these things are practiced in our life. So in Sanskrit, the sloka is there from Mahabharata, one parma, Dharnat dharmiti ahu, dharma dharayate praja, yasyat dharma sanyuktam, sadharma iti nishchaya. This is also there in Manusmriti,
Mhm.
that dharma is that which maintains, which upholds you. And that is the reason that it is called dharma. So once you understand that dharma is good for me, it is good for my welfare. There are many definitions of dharma. This is one. Another one I give you, yato abhyudaya nishrayasa siddhi sa dharma. That which is good for your material upliftment and spiritual enlightenment, that is called dharma. So, Veda pranihito dharma. Dharma is that which is prescribed in the Vedas. Chodana lakshana ortho dharma in Mimamsa Sustra. Dharma is in the form of injunctions given in the Vedas. Krishna also says, Tasmat Shastram Pramanam Te. So, Achara Paramo Dharma, Achara Prabhavo Dharma. So, various definitions. But the key point is this, that Dharma is that which is good for human being, human society.
So we
I,
see.
I will give you, let me
Mhm.
finish because it's very
Yeah, sure.
important. This is
Yeah.
the basic. You can ask me any questions afterwards. So, I give you an example that if there is a system, it could be your family system, it could be your city, it could be a company, corporate. So every system functions smoothly on the basis of certain principles.
Right.
And if all the members of the society understand those principles and stick to them, then the system functions. If there are people who do not stick to it, deviate, then system falters, there will be problems in it. So for example, you take traffic. So everybody goes on the roads and everybody is not going in the same direction.
Correct.
Everybody has got different destinations to reach. Just like in our life, everybody has got different goals in life. But we are living on the same planet and we want to reach our destination. So our life is like a journey, like you travel on the roads. Now, if there are no traffic rules, then what will happen? Then it will be just like in India. Come to the Indian roads, come and dharma. So people do all kinds of things here. All the things are improving. They are definitely much better than the way used to be, say, 25, 30, 40, 50 years ago. But still, so why? Because people are really not educated in the importance of the traffic rules, and they think that I have to get ahead of someone else because life is very competitive. But they don't understand that we can actually all reach our destination peacefully without harming others, without harming ourselves, if we stick to the traffic rules. So in the West, this is one distinction you see when you go out of India. The traffic flows at a higher speed and very smoothly. Why is that? Because people are very conscious of the rules and they stick to them. They don't think of jumping the rules. You
Right.
don't see on a one-way roads some truck coming from the opposite side, which is a common sight here. It happened once to me. I was going and the truck is just coming from the opposite. He
Yes.
just killed me. He didn't stop. Somehow he went to the side and didn't collide with me. So this is happens. So dharma is like that. This world is like a big unit. We call it universe. So universe means uni means one. It is a one system, and it works on certain principles. We know how the day and night happen. We know how the seasons are coming and going in a very orderly fashion. We know how the gravity works. We know how some other the law of karma functions. So if we understand these principles and then we follow those principles, then life remains peaceful and happy,
Right.
materially as well as spiritually. So it is for this reason that dharma was propagated. And it is called Sanatan Dharma because it is not something which is invented by someone. Like traffic rules are made. In India, we keep to the left. In America and many other countries, you keep to the right.
Yeah.
So it is, they have decided it. It is not a Sanatan rule. It is not an eternal principle that you have to keep to the left or you have to keep to the right. India was ruled by Britishers and they keep to the left, so India keeps to the left. But Sanatan Dharma are those principles which are not for Hindus, they are for humanity.
Everybody.
This is what people do not understand. And Hindus also should understand this point
Yes.
that when it is said that there is a law of karma,
Yeah.
and
It
it is
is for
applicable
everybody.
not only for Hindus, it is applicable for everybody. Just like
Everybody.
law of gravity is not applicable for Western people or for only for British people because Newton discovered it.
Right.
So Newton only discovered it, he did not make it. So law of karma is something which is applicable to everybody wherever you go. You cannot escape the law of gravity. No matter what is your creed, belief, you believe in it or not, if you are at the edge of the roof and you take one more step, you are going to fall down.
Yeah.
Say, I don't believe in it. No, it doesn't matter. It's applicable. So, in the same way, law of karma is applicable on every human being. If you believe it, that is very good. Then you can maneuver it, you can perform, you can understand that what kind of action will bring good result to me, what kind of action will bring bad result to me. And this is what Dharma teaches us. So we all want to be happy and we don't want to suffer. This is the basic principle at which we all agree, irrespective of our background, age, color, creed, whatever. We all agree to that. And dharma is teaching that how you can be happy because we are all born in ignorance and we do not know how we have to live here in this material world. We are not taught about it. And there is no school where you are taught about law of karma or dharma. So this is what dharma is. Religion comes from the Latin root religare, which means to bind.
Yeah.
It is a set of rituals that you believe in some god. There is no logic. Why should I believe it? Dharma is logical. Yet tarkena anusandatte sadharme vedaiti natar. One who does deliberation with tarka, with logic, he knows dharma, not the other person.
This is
So
a very important distinction to
very, very important.
very
Dharma is
important that
logical.
you cannot logic or reason with the religion, but with dharma we can.
Religion, you follow it. If you don't follow, I chop your head off. That's all.
Yeah. Sad
Simple.
reality of the world. Yes.
Dharma is not like that.
Dharma is not like that.
So, if you read Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna gives so much stress on our faculty called buddhi,
Buddhi.
or the faculty to discriminate, to understand, to be aware. Right from second chapter onwards, up to the 18th chapter, he goes on bringing this point of buddhi. He's not just telling Arjuna, just do this because I'm God and I'm telling you. No, he
Yeah.
is replying to his questions. All our scriptures Puranas, Itihasas, they are as a dialogue. You have a right to ask question and remove your doubt. Krishna himself says, Samsaya Atma Vinashyati, that if
Yeah.
you have doubts, you will be lost. Therefore, clear your doubts. And he is very happy to answer questions. Even in the end, he says, no, have you understood it? Do you have any more questions to ask? Until Arjuna says that Nashto Moho Smriti Labdha Tat Prasadas Mayachita. That now I'm free from any doubts and I understand. So this is what dharma is.
Okay. So
So we
how
should.
does dharma help others achieve the artha and kama?
So
How
dharma
how how
arthasya
to
kamas.
go for dharma and kama without dharma, and what difference does it make when we put dharma in the first place and then go on achieving whatever we have to in the world?
That's a very good question. So you have heard of Chanakya,
Yes.
and he wrote Arthashastra.
Arthashastra.
That is the oldest book about artha, money, wealth,
Yes.
and wealth means power. So in the very beginning, he gives one sutra. He says, Dharma artha avirodhaina kamam sevet. Ultimately, people want to enjoy. As I said, that everybody wants to be happy.
Yes.
Why do you want wealth? Because we want to enjoy. We think that wealth gives me facility to live happily. It gives me security in my life. So he is writing a book on artha.
Mm.
He is writing a book on economy. It is not a book of dharma. But this is the beauty of Indian scripture, that they are not isolated things. They give you a wholesome, complete picture. So he says, Dharma artha avirodhena kamam sevet. He says, you enjoy, but you should not hurt your wealth and the principles of Dharma. Because if you do that, ultimately you will neither be able to enjoy and you will lose your wealth, your health, and everything. So, this is what happens, that people, when they have money, they get into enjoyment and they break principles of Dharma. And principles of Dharma does not mean that he does not go to temple or he does not do this. Principles of Dharma means very principles which maintain your own life. Like Krishna says, Yukta har viharasya yukta chestasya karmasu yukta swapna bodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha. He says that your life in the matter of eating, sleeping, enjoying should be balanced. So this is for one's own benefit. If you live an imbalanced life, then sooner or later you are going to fall sick. And if you are going to, when you fall sick, you cannot enjoy, you also cannot make money, because good health is the fundamental thing required for anyone to be successful in anything. Dharmartha kam mokshanam arogyam moolam uttamam tadbhavehi bhavanam. So whether you want to pursue dharma, you want to pursue artha, you want to pursue kama, you want to pursue moksha, you have to have a good health. And so many principles in dharma, although they seem like dharma and we call it as religion, that it is a religious principle, but it is actually meant to give you good health.
Yeah.
For example, here in India, and especially those who are Vaishnavas, even Saivites, we observe fasting. Fasting is a very important part of dharma. So, especially every Ekadashi. And it is not only for spiritual upliftment that is there, but it is also good for our health.
Right.
Even modern science says now it is this intermittent fasting is very become like a fad.
Right.
That do intermittent. But Indians have been doing it for 10,000 years, That is the intermittent fasting. We have so many fasts. So it is good because your system gets a break and all the ama in your body gets cleaned up. Your senses become clean. You can think properly. You can take better decisions. Your life depends on decisions. If your brain is cluttered, if it is full of tamas, you cannot think clearly, you cannot make proper decisions. But because you have the ahankara that I am somebody, you are going to take decisions and act on them, and you are going to suffer for that. That is the importance of dharma.
So, dharma is not only helpful for your physical health, dharma is very much tied to the mental health of the being. So,
Mental health is more important than physical health.
right, exactly. So, living dharmically helps people live a rather mentally peaceful in a rather mentally peaceful way than having all those diseases and problems and mental issues that we see, which actually became rampant during the COVID period. Even here in lockdown in Australia, it was bad. And since then, it's a mental health epidemic that we are dealing with here. A lot of people with depression, anxiety, schizophrenia, and all kinds of mental issues are going on. So, do you see that these people just couldn't understand the importance of living a dharmic life? And in the end, God, they became the way they became, and taking medications and shootings and all kinds of cruel things are going on in the society just because people fail to understand the importance of dharma and live dharmically.
Exactly, that's what I said earlier, that there is a law of karma, no one can escape it. So now what the society is going through is a backlash of the nature. All this global warming, pollution, and so many different types of stress, mental stress is going to become one of the killers according to World Health Organizations. By 2050, it will be the biggest killer of human beings. So now Ayurveda said it long ago that there are psychosomatic diseases, that the root cause of most problems in our life is not body but the mind. And that's why dharma is important, because dharma tells you how to reign, how to control your mind. This body is compared to like a chariot. The senses are like the horses, and mind is the rope, the rein to control it. Now imagine if you are sitting in a car and there is no one on the steering and the car is moving, you are going to meet accidents. So this is the human life. If you do not have control over your mind, then we have
Right.
problems. So manaeva manushyanam karnam bandha mokshaya. That mind itself is the cause of our bondage, means suffering, and our happiness. Krishna also says this in Bhagavad Gita. Atmaiv hi atmano bandhu, atmaiv ripur atmana. Mind is our friend, mind is our enemy. When mind is under our control, it is our friend. When we are under the control of the mind, it is our enemy. So that's what you see. Everybody is actually suffering because of their uncontrolled mind, which is acting like their own enemy. Enemy is not somewhere outside, enemy
It's
is sitting
inside.
inside us. And Dharma teaches us how to deal with this enemy. Jahi Shatru Mahabaho Kamarupam Durasanam. He says you have to control this enemy. Shatru, he calls this. So, this is what Dharma is teaching. So all the problems in the society now which you see, they are coming because we are exploiting nature, we are exploiting each other, we are not following dharma. So then the karma has to give its reaction, and they do not know. Then you keep on inventing one medicine after another, more medicines, more disease. Generally, it should be that if we have medicine for one thing, then it should be eradicated. But we have much more diseases now than before. Everybody is taking a pill. I was born in a village in India. I never saw anyone taking any pill. I never saw people falling sick.
Yeah.
And it's not that they were going to gym or something like that. They're simple people, not that they're
Right.
taking some supplements and vitamin D12, this, that. The village people just working on the farm, eating very simple diet, nothing complicated, and there were no shops around. There's not, nothing was there. There were no machinery, there was no electricity. So people lived simple life and nobody was sick. And now we have become so advanced that we can transplant heart. So we are advanced. But before there was no need to transplant it. So we create the problem, then we solve it, then we say we have advanced. So that's what is happening now. So this is because of adharmic life. And people have to realize it. If you don't realize it, then nature is going to hit you. You cannot avoid it. No one can go beyond nature. People say we can control. In India, we worship nature. Modern science controls it. Not only controls, rapes it.
Right.
So then, if you rape, then there's a court case, right? You're punished for that. So Yamraj is sitting,
Yeah.
going to stand. So this is what dharma is. So these are dharma, these are the principles of dharma that's which we have to understand. And this again I'm saying that it is not for Hindus or anything. When Bhagavad Gita was spoken by Sri Krishna, these other things did not exist, these religions. So he was not speaking for just Indians, he spoke in general. All the principles which he speaks there, they are applicable to everybody. संगात संजायते काम काम क्रोधा विजायते क्रोधात भवति सम्मोह सम्मोहात् स्मृति विभ्रम स्मृति भ्रंशात बुद्धिनाशो बुद्धिनाशात प्रणश्यति. You apply this anywhere, no matter
Anyway.
who you are.
How does dharma helps purify the buddhi?
So dharma helps purify the buddhi first by stopping it, not polluting it. Okay? Because buddhi when you are born is not polluted, we pollute it. And how we pollute it? Number one is food. So people are now eating all kinds of junk food, processed food, this food,
Right.
just for that. Never so much variety of food was available in the history of the world before as it is available now. And people are still not satisfied. Complaints about food. So, so food is the, because look our body is made of food. It's undeniable fact. And you have heard of the principle called GIGO, garbage in, garbage out.
Garbage.
So the body is made of food. And Upanishad says that ashitam tredha bhavati, that whatever you eat, it gets divided in three parts. After it is consumed and digested, one part goes to the gross body, other goes to the mind, and third is rejected. So therefore our buddhi, our mind is made from food. When the child was born, he was not as smart, as intelligent as he is when he's 20s or 30s. So he develops. As your body develops, your mind also develops, your intelligence also develops. So as your physical body is developing because of the food, if you have malnutrition, your body would not develop properly. Similarly, your brain, your mind, your buddhi also develops according to the diet you take. So if you, and that diet does not simply mean that you have got enough vitamins and minerals. No, we have a very unique concept in our dharma which is not available anywhere else. No one knows about it, and that is the concept of three gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas. This is dharma, this is Sanatan Dharma, this is eternal principle, undeniable, and universally applicable. Everything in this material world consists of these three gunas. And these three gunas have to be understood. What is the characteristic of sattva? What is the characteristic of rajas? What is the characteristic of tamas? Krishna has defined it in 14th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Everybody should read Bhagavad Gita, a very small book, but now people say I have no time. With all the inventions and gadgets, we have no time.
Yeah.
When people did not have anything, they had time.
Yeah.
So this is a paradox of life. So the food which is sattvic, if you eat that food, and that's why in our Dharma Shastra there are hundreds of rules related with food, because food is very important. As I said, that we are made of food,
Yeah.
and it's not a rocket science. You can know that when child is born or when it is conceived, it's just a dot. and he grows to this big body by eating. So whatever is inside is something which you have put from outside. So now if you eat junk food, you are going to have a junky brain, and then you are going to have junky thoughts, junky desires, junky actions, and then you will end up somewhere. So therefore, first thing is that we should learn to eat proper diet.
Right, yeah.
So Krishna says that there is sattvic diet, there is rajasic diet, there is tamasic diet. He talks about that. So we should eat sattvic food, and it is now available. But people don't want to take care of their own self. That's how they're suffering. We have become so lazy, get the 2 minute dinner, put it in that microwave, another.
Especially here in the Western culture, that's the thing. You
Yeah,
just either boil it or microwave it, and I see a lot of even Indians fall for that. Initially they might be eating dal chawal, rajma chawal, chole and roti and whatever not, but slowly they start adopting this culture, and that's when they start getting sicker in their mind, in their buddhi, and life goes
you have
ahead.
to be. You cannot. So that's what I'm
We
saying
can
that
mm,
people want to be happy.
yeah,
What is the use of wealth if you don't have a peaceful mind?
peaceful mind.
Ashantasya kutah sukham is a statement of Sri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita that if you are ashanta, if your mind is not peaceful, where is happiness? So you have to protect your mind. So most of the rules and regulations in dharma are actually to regulate your mind and body. And if you can do that, you can be happy. You don't need so much to be happy.
Yeah,
Basic needs are required.
basic
But when you
needs.
have too many things, you are even more disturbed. You cannot live in peace.
So what can people living here do to teach dharma to their children? Which is a very important thing, because this generation, like the children that we have in our younger generation, they are just, you can call them Westerners. And when they grow up around their teenage time, that's when they start getting confused about their um, Indian identity, about this identity that they have, the dharma that we follow at home versus what they see in the outside world. That is when they start getting a little bit confused about it. So they are sort of mixed in their feelings, in the adopting everything, something from the Western culture, something from the Indian culture. So, what can be done to keep them straight in line and at least give them the proper foundation, proper base, so that they are not confused about it?
So this is a good and wrong question.
Okay.
Because the problem is that we are thinking of second generation or third generation and we are not thinking of our own self.
Yeah.
So the proper question and good question will be that what can the Indians do themselves to become dharmic?
Yeah, that could be the start of the answer as well. That,
So
parents have to fix themselves first before they
right,
can fix the children. Yeah.
because children are their product.
Yes.
So just like in modern medical science, they say that you inherit various types of diseases. If there is history in your family of heart problems, then the children will also have it, or some other cancer, tuberculosis, etc. So this is also inherited. So I don't blame Indians who are there because they did not go there to pursue dharma. They went there to pursue wealth. It's a fact. And there's no need to hide it. There's nothing wrong with it. This is our human mind. But once they have pursued it and they are comfortable, they have achieved success up to a certain extent. Most Indians are quite well to do.
Right.
So now they should invest some time in pursuance of dharma, which they can do better than even in Indians. Because in India, just pursuing wealth and for survival, you have to work very hard because big population and opportunities are not that much, and whole system infrastructure is not good. Although a lot of improvement are happening thanks to the modern government, present government. So they should take out some time to study dharma sincerely and systematically. Then only they can influence their children. So what parents is that parents, they will go to the party, they will drink, they will eat all types of things, but they want their children that no, don't
Not
do
to,
that.
yeah.
How
Double
is that?
standards.
It is never going to work.
Yeah.
So that's why I said in the beginning that achara prabhavo dharma. That dharma originates with your own achara, with behavior. This dharma is not meant for prachar, for preaching. Other religion, they are preaching religions. That's why they became popular. They originated in one place and they spread all over the world because they preached. Sanatan Dharma is not for preaching. You cannot preach it unless you practice it.
Yeah, you have to become a living example.
If you don't practice it,
Yeah.
then you cannot preach it. Then you are only a hypocrite. Mithyacharasa uchyati. Krishna says this in Bhagavad Gita also. He says such a person is a mithyachar. Means he is talking one way. Paropadesha pandityam. That this is called paropadesha pandityam. That you are good at giving instructions to other but not acting. So parents, if they sincerely want, then they have to invest some of their own time and energy into it. Otherwise, it is only a talk. I have
Yeah.
heard this question hundreds of times from the parents. And it doesn't work like that. They're worried about their children, but what about you? Dharma is for you also, not only for children. So, therefore, the first step is that parents should attend some classes, Sunday classes. They should, like, there are so many temples now all over the world, Hindu temples. So, they
Yes.
should actually plan some system there and they should prod these pujaris in the temple, that not that they are just doing puja and ringing bell. These people should be learned. You should ask them questions because there's a principle of demand and supply.
Yeah.
If you will demand this from them, then they will be forced to be educated.
Yeah.
So these temples should not be just a place of worship. They should be a place of education. They should be the embassies for Sanatan Dharma. And then only it will do welfare to the parents, to the children, and to the other society also. And now we have a lot of temples. So every temple, no matter what temple it is, Shiva temple, Ganesh temple, Krishna temple, it doesn't matter. There should be education on the weekend. That is good enough if you can just have it weekend. Otherwise, what we are doing is that we are outsourcing our children to others, to the Western society. And if you outsource them to the Western society, don't expect anything good coming out of it. They will be completely spoiled, whether you like it or you don't like it. Because Western society is not based on dharma principles at all.
Right.
It is based on consumerism, it is based on economy, artha. So it is just artha and kama, and not dharma and moksha. These two things are absolutely missing from the Western society. And it is just like a car with two wheels blown out.
Yep.
So it is not going to run smoothly.
How important it is, Babaji, to understand adharma as well. What are the
So,
consequences, and what how can we teach people that whatever adharma you see around, you have to stand up to it.
so dharma and adharma, both, if you want to understand dharma, you have to understand adharma. It's like if I say that please buy 2 kg of potato from the market you're going. So you have to know only not only potato, but what is not potato. Otherwise, you will buy tomatoes and say, here it is. Now you have to know that tomato is not potato. So we have to know the distinction what is dharma and what is adharma. When there is dharma bhas, vidharma, adharma, pardharma, so many varieties are there. Chala dharma. So all these have to be understood. That's why education is important. Because when I want to accept, if you want to buy gold, you also have to know what is not gold. Because there is also imitation gold, imitation jewelry is available. And imitation jewelry is more available than the real one. So to understand dharma, we have to understand adharma also. And it goes simultaneously. It's not that you have to do some separate effort for that. It's a simultaneous effect of understanding dharma. So therefore, dharma education is very important. Unless education is there, then all other efforts are not going to be very successful. It is good that temples are there. It is better than not having any temples. But now these temples should become centers of Sanatan Dharma education. And then you will see the effect. Then you will see that this will not only bring you dharma, it will also bring you artha and it will bring you kama. Dharma arthascha kamascha sakim artham na sevyate. Vyasadeva says, the author of the Puranas, Mahabharata, Vedanta Sutra, Vedas, he says that from dharma will come artha and kama. Why people don't follow dharma? It's very simple. If you follow dharma, one thing is that you are going to be healthy in your body and your mind. Now, if you have a good mind, why Indians are successful all over the world? Wherever you go, Indians are top people in any field. Why? Because they are coming from the roots of Sanatan Dharma, no matter how much it has been degraded.
Yeah.
So wherever they go, they're very smart in every field. Even in politics, you see,
Yes.
UK Prime Minister, Indian origin. Kamala Harris, Vice President USA. So it's an achievement, and all the big companies, Nui and whoever Google, etc. So they do good. Why? Because they have good mindset. See the reason, and they are able to adapt to the situation. But their next generation is going to be just like any other. That is for sure, because they are not taking care of the next generation. They are only making money, which is good, but they are not making. So money without dharma is a curse.
Yeah.
It is a complete curse because it is going to bring such a bad reaction to you and your children that at
Yes.
the end of your life you will be suffering. So therefore, the author of Arthashastra, which is the oldest book of economy, he makes this principle right from the very beginning that artha should not be, in fact, even Kama Sutra. You see, we have books on Kama Sutra, we have books on artha, we have books on dharma, we have Dharma Shastra, we have Kama Shastra, we have Artha Shastra, we have Moksha Shastra. But they are all speaking in a wholesome manner. So he says, even Vatsayan in Kama Sutra says that you should not harm artha and dharma. He also says this, same way as Chanakya says. So it is sad that those people who only follow one of the three, moksha is not so common, people don't understand, but he says that dharma artha kama samayameva sevya yohe ki sevya sa nara jaganya. That dharma, artha and kama should be all followed equally. And he says one who is after one only, then that person is the lowest, third class. One who follows two is the second class, one who follows three is the first class, and one who follows moksha along with it is the best. So this dharma is a proven fact. You don't have to do experiments with it. India lived for thousands of years in its glory, and it has produced all types of literature in every field and lived happily. You can even read the records written by Fayan
Yeah.
or other people who visited thousands of years ago India, how they write about Indian society. Economically also.
Right.
In the 16th, 17th century, 25% of world economy was contributed by India.
Pinnacle of
India
growth.
was, India was not a poor country. That's why so
Yeah.
many people flocked to India. It was known
Yes.
as a golden bird.
Golden bird.
But when they gave up dharma, then they fell to the foreign rule and everything was destroyed. It happens. People, every system, every system has to stick to the principles.
Right.
Then only it is sustainable. Even our body is a system. So if we don't follow principles that you eat proper diet, you sleep properly, you function properly, don't be alcoholic, don't be lazy, so then your system will work. Jiva mein sardam sata. Upanishad says we should live 100 years. So this is their statement from Veda. So that is possible if we stick to the principles, which is dharma. Dharma means principles of life, principles of nature. That's what it is. So if we know them and we stick to them, then we can live happily. But unfortunately, we are not educated in this. If people are educated in dharma, so many problems will be solved. Now, so much crime and so much fear, insecurity. You go to the airport, how much insecurity is there? Why is it? Because of not following dharma. If people were following dharma, these problems will not be there. And then how much money you have to spend on army, on military, on prisons, on judges, court cases, so much.
Yeah. Well, Babaji,
So
thank you so much for this discussion and for all these answers. And I'm sure that this will help the viewers and especially the people living here to at least be guided and start educating themselves in dharmic principles and starting with as a living example to the next generations to come. Pranam Babaji.
thank you.
You.
Yes.